So this is the second part of the mystery of my father. Unfaithfulness was the San Andreas fault of my parents' marriage. And one day, the marriage just fell into it. It wasn't coming back. He moved out for what would prove to be the last time. And during that time, he decided he was going to testify for Congress. And the reason he was going to do that was because the mob was jamming his phones and threatening the drivers. So he ran a messenger business, messengers trucking, and slashing tires, and basically because he wouldn't pay them. If he had paid them, none of these problems would have occurred. But my father did not believe in paying for things. Well, certain things. He was noticeably, basically cheap, even though he was making money. And so it wasn't that he stood up for his principle at all. As somebody once said, when they say it's about principle, it's always about money. It was about money. He said it was about the principle of the thing. It was about money. He wasn't going to pay. And my mother, her response was, your father is out of his mind. He has a death wish. And maybe that's good. He should just die. But in fact, she didn't mean that at all. What she meant was, I hope he leaves that tramp and comes home. Now, he didn't live in the house anymore, which for my brother and I was sort of okay. My father had taught me a lot of things by the time I was about 10, really younger. He taught me to ride a horse when I was 5. He taught me to swim when I was 3. He taught me to drive a stick shift car when I was 9 years old. I could hardly reach the pedals. And he had also, he cooked, and he had taught both me and my brother how to cook. So, not having him in the house was sort of nice because he had a terrible temper, and he was a very strict disciplinarian, and he was a perfectionist. So you never knew what it was. It was, going to make him lose it, and meant we were going to get beaten. So it was very relaxing not having him around. We got to watch TV and eat dinner in front of the television, and go to bed as late as we wanted to, because our mother was too depressed to do anything at all. She couldn't discipline us. She could only be depressed. I laugh now, but it wasn't funny then. And one of the things that happened, though, when he taught me all these things at a young age, in a way he taught me there isn't anything you can't do. You can. In fact, I once said to him, I had my period, and I was like, about 13. Oh, I can't help in the garden because I have cramps. He said, you know what? It's good for you to do exercise. Get out in the garden. He did not like the word can't. And it taught me a lot. And in part, it made me quite rebellious. Even if I knew I was going to get punished, if I wanted to do something, I did it. Now, you can do that, but remember, you pay a price if you don't follow whoever's in charge. And I also felt that I needed to have things explained to me. I didn't like arbitrary rules. Back to my father and the Crime Commission. What happened was, in the end, he did not testify before the Crime Commission. And interestingly enough, rather not far in the future after that, maybe 6 months after that, suddenly his business expanded. He suddenly was in the air freight business. Now, we could say they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I don't think it was a horse head in his bed, as they showed in the Godfather movie, but perhaps it was a negotiating ploy all along. So my father, his business grew. He married my stepmother, and they had 2 children, and he began to take vacations and travel. My mother hated to travel, and she was terrified of planes, and that was actually one of the things that caused their breakup. That and the fact that he was very unfaithful. She hated to travel. We can't blame that on her. But my stepmother loved to travel, as it happened. And so they would travel a lot. They'd go to Japan, where he was doing business, and they also frequently would go to Jamaica. And they would vacation there. And one of the times they were in Jamaica with the whole family, my half-sister and half-brother, he loved to swim, as I've said before. He was swimming, and when he came out of the water, he turned around, and he dove back out into the water, and he didn't come back up. And so my father drowned there. He died, and he was only 54 years old. He was a young man. And my brother was always the good boy, the good brother, and he went to the funeral, but I didn't, because I was furious. Furious that he had drowned, furious of a lot of things. I stayed furious for a very long time, I must admit. I'm over it now. I've gotten past it and forgiven him. But my brother, many years later, like 30, 35, 40 years later, became quite curious. I said, well, what's the curiosity. We know he was going to testify for the crime commission, and he was basically in business with the mob. But my brother is a lawyer, and so he wanted proof. He wanted some sort of proof of what they're thinking. So I don't know if he hired a detective, but he did a lot of detective work because he used to work for the Attorney General's office. He was pretty good at it himself. And he researched things, and he found the shipping manifest because our father was an immigrant. He had come to the United States when he was 3 years old from Canada. He was brought in by his aunt because his mother had died in Canada. And the shipping manifest showed that my father and his mother had arrived from Jamaica in 1918 and showed their names, and it showed their race, and they were black. And we might say, well, that could have been a mistake. But there was a census taken about 10 years later, and sure enough, it showed that he was Negro. And then there was his marriage license to my mother, which showed that he was white. Magically white, before the age of computers. And when my brother told me that, it made perfect sense. I went, of course. All my life I'd been asked, was I Spanish? Was I Gypsy? Well, I'm half Italian. My mother was Italian. And it made perfect sense to me, his life. To have lived the life of a black man passing as white. What a terror that must have been. And although he was quite light-skinned, if you look closely, his hair was quite wiry and short. He kept it very, very short to his head. And of course, it was a time when men wore hats. I mean, I'm sure that is why he wasn't accepted into the army. The white army in the 1940s, of course, would have known that he was a black man. I'm pretty sure that would have factored into his reason not to go before a congressional hearing, which were filmed. In fact, the New Yorker had once done an article on his business, and although he was the president and the founder of it, with my mother, I might add, he let his vice president do all the talking, and there were no pictures of my father. He did not want his picture seen in public. It was very interesting that the one time it was in public was when he was on the front page of the news with the bodyguards after he was going to testify. I'm sure that was a consideration. Plus, maybe help him expand his business to Japan. So that was my father's secret. And it became our secret. We didn't even know. I did not know that I was part black. And neither did my brother. We certainly know now. My brother did not like that news at all. But for me, it made perfect sense. And for me, I was really quite happy that he went back to Jamaica. And that's where he died, where he was born. He went home. And so that's the story of my father's secret, and also, as it happens, of my family secret. So thanks for watching, and I'll see what else I can dig up. Bye.